All right, we're back on the Instant Classic. A Squad Rebel Radio, Mr. Excitement, Big Murph, and our good friend and sister, the super ultra talented Sony recording artist, Miss Amanda Holley, who is from Newark, New Jersey originally.
Hey, represent.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you here with us.
But you know,
up,
I'm gonna cut you off for a second. I'm sorry about doing that. I gotta say this. I'm 65 years old. I never slid in nobody's DM. I slid into Ralph's DM and Amanda's DM. For the first time. I'm like, what am I doing?
You sent him the flyer,
I
didn't you?
sure did.
Hey.
And so my sliding into a DM was for a different reason, you know. So I sent the flyers because I'm like, nah, I got a friend. They're gonna be guests. I'm like, I gotta send the flyer because I want to know.
I was like, okay, Murph, like,
yeah. And then
I'm gonna add you right now. Like.
There you go. And she got me. She said, Amanda wants to follow you. I'm like, oh, heck on, yeah. Yeah, you know that.
Blasting y'all out.
Oh my God! But Mike, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I have to get that out.
No, definitely. And also, like I said, Ralph is managing you. So how did you discover Amanda? Or like, just I'll let you tell the story.
It's a great story. You want to tell half? I'll tell half. I was introduced to Amanda by the late great legend Burt Podell.
Oh wow.
Biggie Small, Stash.
Right. Burt Podell.
Uncle Burt.
He was such a help and a real friend to the black artists in New York. There's some great, incredible stories where he went and stopped the police from attacking rappers and all kinds of incredible behind-the-scenes stuff. But Amanda had a little bit of a rocky start, but then as a baby, and she'll tell that. But then, literally, she was being managed by a top producer for years and years and years. A multiple Grammy-winning,
like 2 years before he passed.
Yeah, 2 years, and then he passed, and Uncle Burt really said, I need you to step in, but I need somebody that could understand what we have, not abuse the situation, protect the artist, and really move the project forward in a protected way. Right. And that's how I came. But I'm going to say this before you take your interview over. When she walked in and I met her, even though I'm coming from the Apollo legacy, right? I felt like this is what it must have been to meet young Aretha Franklin when she first started and she walked in, because Amanda had so many attributes, qualities, and backstory of some of the great female singing legends that came through the Apollo. And they came through at a young age, but they came through with a lot of pathos, a lot of energy, some sadness, but they all came with that fire to get to that stage and let them know that that voice was in the in not only your marketplace but in the world space. You know what I'm saying?
So everything you got from the Apollo came walking in the flesh.
It was very, very strange. And you know, I've had a great time managing great artists, helping great artists, and you know, loving doing that. And I had basically said, it's such a specific job, I don't want to do it when I'm doing the movies and the other stuff and all of that. But when I met Amanda, I said, oh my God, listen, you're part of this matrix. You're let me help. You know?
The rest is history.
Really, really grateful that Ralph kind of stepped in, almost like an angel, in the midst of a lot of chaos and craziness. Because for me, creating art and being music and sharing music is what I am and what I'm here to do. You know, and I feel like in the climate of the industry, a lot of that gets lost. Especially like for females, especially I'm biracial, I'm black and Italian, you know, especially for like women of color, females of color. And Burt kind of swooped in after Phil Ramone passed, and he was like, I have the perfect person. And it's just crazy to me to be like, I was like that little girl that would like survive on, like I had a music teacher that knew I was going through a lot of strife and stuff, and he gave me a Billie Holiday records to listen to and like send me some MP3s and stuff. And I would listen to her music just to want to be on the planet, you know, and listen to Miss Franklin, who I did get to spend some time with before she passed, which is just insane to me.
Man, that's huge. That's really huge.
Yeah. So then to have it all come kind of full circle, especially like, oh, I don't know, like, am I strong enough to be in this world? I'm coming from nothing. Like, I'm coming from a lot of craziness. Like, should I be in the industry? And then Burt brought Ralph to the picture, And I'm like, this is crazy, because his father discovered Billie Holiday. His
Right.
dad put Aretha on the map,
Incredible, right?
and Ralph, walked in his footsteps with finding Ice-T and putting Ice-T on the map, and just breaking boundaries for artists, especially artists of color, in this world. So that was just like, I sometimes I have to think about all the stuff that's transpired.
Right.
And just be like, how the like, it's amazing to me.
And it's funny because you had answered what I was going to ask. A person's vision and the reality of that vision. What's the difference? Because we all have a vision of what something should be like, but when you get to it, what's the reality?
Right.
Exactly. What is the reality of it? Is it the same? Do you have to struggle with what I thought it was going to be and what it actually is? And being young. It has to be a struggle between good and evil, which you'll say,
Oh
oh,
my gosh,
I don't
yeah.
know if I could do this. How did that, how did you kind of mend that?
I mean, we are definitely in some tumultuous times, and I think for myself, at least, just coming into the world in a very non-conventional, very I don't want to say trauma-ridden life. Up until literally the past couple of years, these are the first abuse-free years of my life, thanks to Ralph and the fam and my music and the people that support that, who become my family. So I always said whatever happens, whatever the creator means for me to be in the world is what it's going to be. So it's always been very easy to feel out the vibration of something and know okay, this don't resonate with my purpose. Not to take away from other people, because I love everybody, you know what I mean? And to each his own, but this just ain't it for me. And there's I'm friends of mine, people in the industry, Holley, you're crazy, Manda, what are you doing? This kind of money that you leaving millions of dollars on the table, because it just wasn't right,
good money, right.
And there's times that things can happen that are things that you don't agree to, and people could be over the top, and they could be dangerous, and especially flailing around out there, without having a dad or somebody to check these things, before you get into these situations. But I also feel at the same time, kind of having those craziness for so long made it possible for me to navigate, even though I wasn't able to avoid all of the danger, but to get through it and keep persevering so that we can kind of be a part of this lift for others, for other artists and people in the world, kind of together. That's, I don't know.
I will say that your art, you made a comment once, Amanda was the fastest signing in one label at Warner Brothers, because she was first at Warner Brothers. They met her. And by the way, the signing happened in a month that nobody gets signed. It was deep in fourth quarter in December, now. And one meeting, everybody in the company came into the room, and she got signed in that day.
Wow.
It's the only artist ever at that label that got signed in one day. And it was mostly because she connected her spirituality and her creativity connected with all the executives, and they understood, and she made a comment recently that if she hadn't gone through the traumas and the ups and downs, could she write the songs that she's writing now and telling these stories that are really powerful? And as the next year, 2 years come out with songs, you're going to see some songs that I think are not only going to chart even bigger than other songs she's had that charted, but they're going to be anthemic songs that live forever. Because they're so powerful about living in this time tumultuously, but making it through. And there are universal issues that are not going away and changing, but need to be brought to light. So it's a very, but that's such
it's
a
always the
creative
ones I don't want no one to hear.
What becomes the big hits, right? And it's funny. I'm glad you said, because when you talk about the signing and the aura and the energy, I felt that when you was talking, he touched on, and it must be the energy all around, because, and just listening to you, I welled up. Just listening to your story, because I love sitting down and talking because everybody asks, well, how did you get started? What did you do? What is it like and all that? And it's the regular stuff. But sometimes an artist needs to tell their story because there's somebody watching right now
Yep.
Right.
who feel
Amen.
like you do, but don't know how to
I had
get
a
through
chill
that.
when you said that. It's
I
true,
really-
and it was those artists that that I would see that would literally kept me alive and kept me on the path and kept me from getting into stuff way worse than stuff that I've experienced. And
Right.
my whole thing was like, if I can get to a space where I could be there for one person through the song, through the story, like
Right.
whatever it is, like. I mean, we're gonna save most of it for the biopics.
Oh, good. Okay.
Right. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But that is my mission in this world, and I'd be so thankful just to be able to do that. And
Well, you got big brothers here too now. So
I
you
know.
I'm just letting you know that right off the bat. The world, you'll know it. That's our little sister. You mess with her, it's a wrap, and I say that.
Thank you.
I mean it.
I love you all so much.
Oh, we love you too. It got me when you it said Amanda Holley wants to follow you. I'm like, whose phone is this? I'm like, what? I'm waiting for Ralph though. I'm waiting for him.
He don't even got. He
I'ma
he
ease
don't
back in
even
his
have.
DM.
I'm
Listen,
so
we gotta
bad.
make Ralph a IG. We gotta do.
Oh,
him
we
for
got
good.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He
all
won't
right.
get on there because
Okay.
he.
Yeah,
he
we
No,
gotta
we
do that.
we,
he
we
don't want
have
nobody
to.
blowing him up.
We
you know,
have
he-
to. I hate to say this. When you're way out there creating the
Right.
fire, it's so unbelievably overwhelming.
Right.
And you got to be concerned with so much that sometimes at this point, because now, like I said earlier, I feel the responsibility to get these
Right,
stories out,
right,
and tell them right,
right.
make sure history doesn't, So it's kind of overwhelming, and you don't have the time to really step back and do things like this,
Right.
which is such an important part to share it with your
Right,
friends and your
right.
family and your fam, and to give that energy for both explaining things, educating and telling about the past, but then also inspiring the future.
Right.
And that's
right.
what it's all about.
Right.
So I'm bad at it. I got to be better at it. Unfortunately, a lot of my communication now is going to be on the screen where I'm
Right.
getting a story made to tell one. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to break barriers too as we are moving.
Absolutely.
Towards the next 2025, 26, 27, 2030. But it's an amazing fight because it's a fight that's been going on forever.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? The years have changed, but the fight remains.
And it's getting worse. It's getting worse because we having less people to help fight.
Well, that is a very nerve-wracking thing.
It
And
is.
I think like two of Amanda's songs coming up next year really speak to that. But yeah, we are living in an age where there's less of our social prophets. There's less of our prophets that are fighting for social change
Right.
as a platform. And with that being pulled back or not happening, you don't have that as a voice in the marketplace.
Right.
So you're just missing that energy, which
Right.
is a very, very dangerous thing.
Absolutely. Who are some of your influences in music? I mean, growing up, I'm like, you looked at somebody and said, wow. And then when you met them, you was like, even more wow. It's incredible.
Well, I think Aretha must take the cake for me because to be able to grow up listening to Miss Franklin, I was that weird kid. Like all my friends is like Riri and everything. And I love all that music. I love Beyonce. I love everybody. But for me, like the people that fed my soul was like the traditional soul R&B singers. So Mariah and Whitney and Aretha. But even going back to Billie and Miss Lena, Miss Lena was like a big one for me because she, was like kind of my complexion, being biracial, breaking barriers at the time.
Right.
And also, of course, Ella Fitzgerald. She just being incredible as she is. Now, the crazy thing is, I had already kind of been immersed in that and also had like a family history in music. Although my family was very, a lot of tumultuousness, but the music thing was a constant for us.
Right.
So when I finally meet my father and I find out that he wrote for Sarah Vaughan, and I meet my dad in like elementary school, find out that he wrote this music and it explained why I was composing and stuff. And I'd been singing and playing violin from 2.5, but singing before I could talk, then violin, then keyboards, just because I was writing.
Right.
Her mama's a concert cellist, and she had a lot going on for herself, but she did go to one of the most prestigious schools in the world for concertcello on a free, full scholarship, and was a genius, played in orchestra pits and stuff like that. And I meet my dad. I find out that I'm black, which was just crazy. Like, I was like, this explains a lot now.
Right,
Okay,
right.
thank you. Thank
Mike, your mirror
you.
tell you that every day, don't you? All right, I just want to know.
I was like, okay, thank you. And then eventually meet his sister,
Wow.
who happened to go to Juilliard and discover Stephanie Mills, wrote for her, co-managed her, got her in the Wiz, but also like came up against a lot of obstacles. My
Right,
daddy,
right.
I only met my dad a few times, and then we reunited on his deathbed, and he's no longer here, right? But being in that mental stuff and drug abuse and all that, his rights were just taken from him. So his name's on the records. But back in the day, I guess 70s, 80s, like a lot of times there's black composers that did not
Didn't
get
no credit, right?
their credits.
Right.
So that's like a whole thing. I actually have to go through that and like,
Right.
you know, kind of right that wrong. But it's very emotional too, you know.
Yeah.
But it's been in my family history for so long that like it's so easy. Like my auntie would expose me to like so many different pieces. That was the one thing she could do, was expose me to that music, and I'm forever thankful to her for that. And she's still on and popping.
Right.
She's just older now and kind of took that, you know, right to chill out and just throw parties. No.
Hey, you're that
Upper
address
West
at the next
Side.
party. I'm going.
Yeah, she throwing down on the Upper West Side.
Oh, okay. I'm there.
But you know, Amanda, like, when did you realize that you can sing in 5-octave range? That's not like normal.
That's
'Cause
crazy.
a lot of singers can't do that.
Right.
That was
With
crazy.
control and
Right.
full
Right.
volume. and
Breath
tonation.
control, the whole nine.
Yeah,
it's
it's
incredible.
crazy. And it's
And
crazy.
fluidity,
to hear
it
them
has to
jump
flow.
them.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank y'all. It was actually, I'd already been like singing for crowds of people just from my music teacher at school, finding and having me do this thing at the town, this, town, that, church, this, church, that. And then finally the orchestra pits, my mom's and we didn't have money to like get a babysitter. So a lot of times I would sit in the orchestra pit with my mom. And I would see the same show like over and over and over again. And the musical theater director for all the kids stuff was like, oh, this little girl got a voice.
Right.
And it was a little bit weird because like I couldn't do any of the little white kid, you know, because I'm this girl with the 3C hair, like,
Right.
you know, and especially right then was like nobody really knew what to do with us mixed girls and stuff. But I had already been out and about singing quite a bit. So I thought, oh, I'm a singer. Like I'm doing the State Theater. I'm here. I'm popping up in New York. Like I'm, you know.
Carnegie Hall.
Oh, did end up at Carnegie. That's recent. That's a crazy story. And just to kind of, with the whole octave range thing, when I met my auntie, she was like, you know, I want to go to the piano with you and I want to show you some stuff that's in our family. And so my auntie has a crazy range. So I think it was in the blood, but I didn't fully know. I just knew like every now and then I'd be listening to some Mariah this or some Ripperton or whatever, and I'm just singing along. I just thought it was just a normal thing.
Right.
So she's the one that let me know, and then it was like 5 minutes at the piano, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope. Okay, so I could do okay. And I was very thankful that she was able to give me the time like that. But Carnegie, yeah, that was a couple of years ago. I ended up getting to play and sing my own song that I wrote at Carnegie Hall under musical director Myron McKinley. He's the MD for Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right. Yeah. I saw that. I was looking at that.
It was crazy.
And you work with Dennis Doc Williams also.
Dennis Doc Williams. That's another thing that was just crazy. Like, could you
OJs.
imagine?
Oh,
So
yeah, I know who that is.
my parents met in a very unconventional way and ended up homeless together in the streets. And then they're not together, you know, they split. And I'm in this like moving around, you know, lots of stuff. And then all of a sudden I meet my dad. And then I meet my auntie, and then she introduces me to Dennis Doc Williams. Like immediately, like within an hour, he was at the apartment. Like, oh, this little girl's trouble. Because the first day I met my auntie, we went to the piano.
Right.
That was the first thing we did. I knocked on her door. I said, "I'm Amanda. I'm a singer."
She's
I had to let her know. I had to let her know.
Wow.
You know. all 3 foot tall Holley is like
Right.
walking through.
Auntie,
We
you
go to
better
the key.
recognize.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so she is like, let's sing a song, and I say, oh, I want to sing this song for my dad. Maybe he'll want to see me if I sing him this
Right,
song. Let's
right.
record it.
Right.
And that's what we did. And she cried, I cried, and then she calls up Doc. And Doc comes right over.
Wow, that's, oh my God.
It's just like
Right.
it's crazy to me. It's
You
crazy.
really born into this, for real. You was
Yeah,
really
and
born
it's a
into
long
this.
generational thing too, because even my mom with her music, no one else in her family got to make music for a living. Being Italian, they was in the construction thing, and my mom and my dad, I guess, literally they're both out of it, but that music thing, because he loves strings, being a soul musician, singer, songwriter.
Right.
You know, when you hear them string lines, and then like she loves his soul, and he's singing, you know, all these beautiful. He's modulating all over the place, and
Wow.
like I guess that's what brought them together, and that
Right.
fusion. I came out of that, so I feel a big like responsibility too to the family. But everybody in the Hollies can sing. All my uncles
Wow.
was in a doo-wop group back in the day called the Mellow Gents on Warner
oh,
Brothers.
On
that's-
Warner
oh.
Brothers, yeah.
Murph, you know.
So
I'm a
Sandy
rare soul
Holley,
person.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a rare soul person.
Sandy Holley, and
Yeah.
my uncle Larry Holley. They were
Wow.
both in that group. They never got a dime. They toured. They're in the pictures.
A lot of them, like back in those days with the rare soul, and that they never got compensated for their
Yeah.
talent. Never.
And they were writers and performers.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
the thing too. The Holley family is originally from Virginia, freed slave family.
Right.
My great grandpa and great uncle were both freed slaves. One became a professor, one became a doctor. And my grandpa actually had to move all my uncles up from the South before my daddy was born, because there was like lynchings going on in the neighborhood.
Right.
Meanwhile, everybody can sing. Even my nana could sing and play the piano. You know, so it's I don't even know. It's a lot. It's a lot of.
You have a lot to be able to create from, you know, and to best tell our story with all the turmoil going on, and now you're here. It's like now it's a lot easier to be able to tell the story and not get as emotionally drained as you would have been if you had not talked to your relatives. You
I
know?
think so, because I had a lot of extreme racism, even as a little girl, from like 5 for a whole like decade of my childhood, in
Right.
in my own home, and community,
Right.
just for being black, like
Right.
just for the color of my skin, from the people that are supposed to love you the
right,
most.
right, unconditionally.
So
yeah.
even though I know that my brothers and sisters, like some of us have it a lot harder because we read a little bit more color than I do, maybe.
right,
But I know the feeling, because I mean, when you're getting that from your own family, like, I mean, it's one thing when you go home to somebody that's looks like you and they love you.
right,
It's another thing when you're out in the world and they hate on you,
yeah.
and then you come home and they hate on you. So I understand the feeling, and I need to stop it. I need to be a part of, like,
Right.
even if I could contribute in that, like, 1/100th to help change things, that's what I have to do. And that's also why I have to stand by my convictions, and as a female too, because
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to
it's
have
a-
that
it-
positive shift.
May I also say it's one of the roughest businesses, the music industry. A lot of people that we love today, and thank goodness we have, you know, again, there's a change over there, you know. You have greats and legendary people in that space, from Kendall Minter, who just passed, God bless him, to, you know, Norby Walters, who booked a lot of the great black artists and helped them tour. But you also have a plethora of great female rappers coming out now that you, when you sit with them, you're shocked to find out this is not their first record.
Right.
They've
right.
been grinding
Right.
hard for years. So although, and I don't want to say any names because it's up to them to tell their origin
Exactly,
story,
right, exactly.
and they will, and they have.
Right.
But you'll be shocked to find out that they had to go through a lot of groundswell work for years before they are who they are today. It didn't just happen
Right.
real fast for everyone.
Right.
God bless all those that it
That it
did,
did,
like
right,
Ice Spice.
exactly.
God bless her.
Right.
Right? I'm with that. I'm
Right.
with that all
You
day.
gotta have people watching your back. You
Absolutely.
gotta have
But
that.
yeah, it's about a team.
If
It's
you
a-
coming from nowhere, it's a
Right.
lot different. And there's a lot of predatory behavior.
Of course.
There's stuff where I couldn't escape from, and I'll leave it at that.
Right.
There's stuff where I had to walk from
Right.
my dreams over and over again, and it shouldn't be that way.
No, not at all.
You know, but
we-
I feel like
We talk about
it's
that a lot
shifting.
too. Talk about
Yeah.
that, you know, how this business can take, you know, like child stars, and then you hear their story after the fact, and you're like, wow.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the whole wow factor. And I know, you know, and without really going deep into it, because everybody's like, well, you know, it's not really like that. But until you experience or talk to somebody who has, and
Right.
a lot of people don't believe the story, and the hardest thing in the world is to listen to somebody who's lived it and trying to tell it. It sounds like you're babbling.
Right.
You know, because you got so much going on in your mind and you're trying to articulate it. And the people you're telling it to don't want to believe you because you sound crazy.
Right.
You know, and that's the sad part. Nobody wants to listen, but everybody wants to, well, you know, she needs to get her meds. Or and it's so crazy because that's the first thing they want to do. Let's take him in and get him, you know, some psychiatric treatment.
Yeah, they don't
you know?
understand the
Right.
stuff that goes on.
Right.
I think like a lot of times the things that I had to turn away from where it was really painful.
Right.
But had I gone in that system, like
We wouldn't be here.
I would be. I don't want to, no
Right.
disrespect to Miss Houston, who's my absolute favorite, but I maybe would have ended up like that already, you
Right.
know. And I understand why artists
Right.
go through that
Right.
emotion.
And when you look back, I mean, I don't mind outing it, but when you look back at a lot of what people did, and you think of the greats of today, how they really had a rough time,
Right.
you know? And I'm not saying anybody was wrong or evil, because I'm not going to point fingers,
Right.
even if you know.
Right.
But I will say, you know, poor Whitney,
Right.
you know, even Mariah went through something that was very powerful.
That was
She
amazing.
she had a marriage. She came out of that
Right.
marriage. She had another. You know, there's a lot of scars. It wasn't just a rocket ride to the top,
Right.
simplistically. And the other side of that same coin is, if you're Amanda or you're Mariah Carey, where are you supposed to be?
Right.
You wake up every day going, I'm a singer. I'm supposed to be at a record label.
Right.
That's where
Right.
I'm not a plumber, an electrician. I'm not a construction person.
Right.
I'm not a CEO,
Right.
except of my own songs and my own career. So where am I supposed to be? At a record label. So if you put your heart and soul into that, and then you find you have to fight within your own industry
When
on
music
levels you
is
don't
the
even think
one,
about.
like the safest place in the world.
Right.
And then the surroundings of that don't exactly support that.
Right.
That's when it gets a little bit crazy. But it's been an interesting journey, and I'm very thankful, and it's been pretty miraculous too. Like even to get the Grammy ballot this year.
Right.
and
Congratulations on that. Yeah, you get hand claps for that. I don't usually get those. You gotta get those. You gotta get those. You know.
So thank you.
And Big Gas Face and Tommy Boy Records. Yo, blew it.
We need a
See
gas
ya!
space. You know. Oh.
I wish that was the craziest of it, but y'all would not believe it. And we'll save it for later.
Yeah, that biopic is going to be interesting because you know it gives you an opportunity to tell your story. And this is why I love the interview today, because a lot of people are watching this, and a lot of people just look at you and say, "Oh my God, she's so great," but don't know where the greatness come from and the battles you had to fight in order to at least get to a role where you can be great. You know, but
everybody's going through it
yeah,
too, in a
some
different way.
Right,
You know.
exactly.
And there's other things coming out that
Right.
we all, you know, that we all see. We
Right.
see the allegations
Right.
coming out.
Right.
It's been a pretty triggering too, just because I've survived pretty much all of this kind of stuff. So
Right.
as a female, like I just want to be like, you know,
Yeah.
and it ain't my time yet,
Right.
but to actually be able to support people just through a song, even,
Right.
or just
Right.
being real,
Yeah.
like we are right now. So I appreciate it.
The
and I
greatest
love
place
y'all.
to come from is the soul and the heart, and that's why when I'm on the air, I always tell people, I say the best way to deliver the music is from the heart.
Right.
You
Amen.
know, and to listen to you, and like I said, you know, I make no apologies for my passion for the music and for the people that do the music. So if you see me get misty-eyed, that's me. I'd make no
Right.
apologies about it. And to listen to you and hear your story, you know, I'm hurt because of how the powers that be put so many people who have the talent through the struggle, but they benefit from it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
And-
the craziness.
Right.
That's the craziness to me.
It's
I
so sad.
I appreciate and I agree, and that's the thing that I think that is naturally, like, the public is kind of demanding a shift,
Right,
though,
right.
which is kind of because like now it's kind of blowing back on them,
Right.
because they can't hide from it no more. Like the
Right,
public
right.
is like, no, but this is like the truth right here. We want more of this.
Right.
Like you can't really get away from that.
Not
like.
at all. Not at all.
And real quick to the producers, is Touch a Class here yet? Okay, they are here. Okay. So
Wow.
give all your social media information out.
Hi, I'm at Listen to Amanda on IG,
Right.
Instagram, at Listen to Amanda, spelled out. Amanda Holley, Holley, and listentoamanda.com and wherever else too.
Spotify.
Thank you. Yeah.
All over
Yeah,
the place.
yeah.
And when is the album coming out? 'Cause I know it's coming out shortly.
We're releasing one single at a time.
Ride or Die.
All a part of the.
Yeah.
All a part of
I
the.
love the video.
Right.
Amanda.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Michael.
Well, you know,
That
it's
was
gonna be
even
it's
like
gonna be
a
on
journey.
Classic Soul 175. I'm playing it.
thank you, baby.
so
But see, I got
don't
a
wor-
chance to see you at Drum.
Yeah.
You murdered it.
Thank you.
like
I'm
Fiendin'
so
also.
glad you guys were there. Oh, we're so excited about re-releasing Fiendin'
Right.
through the Sony platform. So we're pretty
Doesn't that
excited about
sound
that.
great, Sony?
Yeah,
great.
It
yeah,
does.
it's pretty amazing.
Sounds a lot better than the other one.
Oh my god.
Well, and you
I'm
know,
out. I'm out.
Ask the Force MDs about that.
we gotta
I'm
get
out.
Ralph Cooper social media.
Stetsasonic?
And then- Yeah. Oh my
Stetsasonic.
God.
He
Oh my
hides.
God.
He is Ralph Cooper
We-
the second. Don't look at them juniors because there's a lot of people
Right,
trying
right,
to pretend
right.
to be
Yeah,
Ralph.
Right. Right.
They
second
be like
is cool.
posing like
That's
him.
why I say the second.
Thank you.
That's why I say the
Number
second.
2.
Right. number
Roman
2.
numeral.
That's right. You
Right,
know.
right.
They be trying to look like him to show up in the
Oh,
Google
that's
search.
funny.
It is crazy.
You should have seen Mike try to do that. Mike tried to look like him. I said, "Come
Yeah,
on, Mike.
come
I know
on,
it's
Mike.
you."
I
Don't be
will.
impossible.
I wish
on,
he
man.
has his hair. Oh my God, the curly hair. My Lord.
Listen, if I go back to the theater, because we're going to celebrate the fact that it's like 90 years since Dad invented Amateur Night.
Right.
If I go back to the theater to host any of the shows, I want you all there backstage. with
Oh
me.
my God.
Come on, because it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be probably for next season.
Oh, just
DJ
let us
Miller
know.
Mike Kite can be the new Sandman Sims.
There you go.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
And he got the footwork.
And he got the
got
footwork.
the footwork.
That's the footwork.
Let me see some
That'll
footwork.
be hot. Exactly.
You know.
So, real quick,
Go
we're
ahead.
going to go to Amanda video
Okay.
from the other company.
Okay.
And we'll be right back with the legendary Touch of Class.
All right.
On
Wow.
the Instant Classic.
Yay.
They're
Thank
gonna
y'all.
be in the
Love you.
building. Love you too.
This is my single on Tommy Boy Warner Brothers. And I want to know what you're feeling for, whatever it is that you love to do. Do it. So patient. Oh, my dear. Your existence.
March 1934, when Ralph Cooper introduced.
Thank you so much for having me. So much we had there. I want to give it up for Diane and the crew. This is my single on Tommy Boy Warner Brothers. And I want to know what you're feeling for. Whatever it is that you love to do. Do it to it. So patient. Oh, my dear.
All right. All right, everybody, we're back on the Instant Classic. We got R&B legendary royalty in the building, former Midland International Records recording artist. You know, Sony, right?
Yeah, don't say that.
Yes.
Don't say
They
that.
took it over.
Don't say that.
Touch.